the apex predator's domain for eons. The galaxy trembled at the mere mention of the apex predator that lurked on the desolate planet Xeris, a world whose name was synonymous with fear and death. Entire civilizations had crumbled before this legendary creature, their ruins standing as solemn memorials to those who dared to challenge its dominance. No species, no matter how advanced or brave, had ever survived an encounter with the beast, leaving the planet isolated, shunned, and feared. The apex predator was more than just a creature. It was a force of nature, an embodiment of pure, unrelenting power that crushed anything in its path. But all of that changed when humanity, newcomers to the galactic stage, set their sights on Xeris. Despite the dire warnings from the Galactic Council and the well-documented history of the Predator's wrath, the humans remained undeterred. Driven by a blend of curiosity, defiance, and the unshakable belief that no challenge was insurmountable, they landed on Xeris's forbidding surface. Led by Captain Jeremy Simmons, a seasoned explorer with a reputation for tackling the impossible, the human team began their expedition. The Galactic Council watched in stunned silence as the humans ventured deeper into the Predator's domain, their every move broadcasted to an anxious galaxy. What they found in the heart of Xeris defied every expectation. Advanced technology, remnants of a once-thriving civilization, glimmered within the dark, cavernous lair of the apex predator. When the creature finally emerged, it did not attack as expected. Instead, to the utter shock of the galaxy, the terrifying being responded to the humans' cautious approach with something that could only be described as curiosity. As Captain Simmons extended a hand in a gesture of peace, the apex predator, feared across the stars, reciprocated. The galaxy held its breath, watching as the most feared being in existence gently accepted the human's hand, forever altering the course of history. The bond formed as the initial shock of the encounter subsided. Captain Simmons and his team established a base camp on Xeris, directly within the territory of the once-feared apex predator, now named Titan. The ancient structures surrounding their camp hinted at a civilization long lost to time, a culture that had worshipped Titan as a deity, a protector-turned-destroyer in the aftermath of a cataclysmic war. Dr. Amelia Chen, the team's xenobiologist, became engrossed in studying the ruins and the creature that had so far defied all expectations. Her research revealed that Titan was the last of its kind, the sole survivor of a species that had once lived in harmony with the inhabitants of Xeris, before a devastating conflict had nearly wiped them all out. The more they learned, the clearer it became that Titan was not the mindless beast it had been portrayed as, but a being of immense intelligence and emotion. Titan's actions, its cautious approach to the humans, its refusal to attack, all pointed to a deep sense of loss and loneliness, an ancient guardian who had outlived its purpose. Captain Simmons, along with Lieutenant Marcus Reynolds, worked tirelessly to build trust with Titan, spending countless hours in its presence, learning to understand its complex forms of communication. The bond between Titan and the humans grew stronger with each passing day, and soon, it was clear that the creature was as curious about the humans as they were about it. However, as this unprecedented relationship developed, it did not go unnoticed by others. A cloaked probe, dispatched by the Galactic Council, hovered silently above the camp, capturing every moment of interaction. The footage, broadcasted to the council members, was met with a mix of awe and dread. For every member who saw potential in this new alliance, there were those like the Nyan representative Zoran, who viewed Titan's power as a threat that needed to be eliminated before it could upend the balance of power in the galaxy. Behind closed doors, plans were made and orders were given, setting the stage for a confrontation that would test the fragile bonds of trust and cooperation between humanity and Titan. The Council's intervention, as the Galactic Council convened in an emergency session, the footage of Titan and the humans played on a loop, sparking heated debates and frantic discussions. The Council, a collection of the galaxy's most powerful and influential species, was divided. Some saw in Titan a potential ally, a powerful being who, if guided wisely, could bring about a new era of peace and cooperation. Others, like Zoran, saw only danger. To them, Titan was an uncontrollable force, a living weapon that could turn the tide of power in unpredictable ways. Despite Captain Simmons's repeated assurances and the evidence of Titan's peaceful intentions, the Council's fear was palpable. They could not ignore the potential for destruction that Titan represented, nor could they overlook the possibility that humanity, with its boldness and unpredictability, might be playing with forces beyond its control. After days of intense deliberation, the Council reached a decision. They would send a delegation to Xeris to assess the situation firsthand, accompanied by a Nyan Black Ops team under the command of the ruthless Commander Zaid, tasked with a single objective: neutralize Titan if it was deemed too dangerous. As the delegation's ship descended through Xeris's atmosphere, Captain Simmons and his team prepared for the worst. They had come to respect and even care for Titan, understanding that their bond with the creature was fragile and that any wrong move could shatter the trust they had painstakingly built. The delegation arrived at the camp with all the formality and tension of a first contact scenario, their every move watched by the humans, Titan, and the unseen eyes of the galaxy. What was supposed to be a diplomatic mission quickly escalated as Zoran, unable to contain his fear and mistrust, ordered an immediate assessment. As the delegation approached Titan, the atmosphere crackled with tension. However, the situation took a dramatic turn when the Nyan Black Ops team, acting on Zoran's orders, launched a surprise attack, their fighters screaming through the sky and unleashing a barrage of firepower on the camp. The humans and their allies scrambled for cover, but Titan reacted with astonishing speed. The creature, using its immense telekinetic powers, seized the attacking ships in mid-air, crushing their weapons as if they were nothing more than toys. Zaid's ship, the only one to escape Titan's grasp, circled above, its commander barking demands for surrender. But the conflict was far from over. Just as the situation seemed to spiral into total war, Zoran's dreadnought appeared in the sky, casting a shadow over the camp and issuing a final ominous ultimatum: Titan must be destroyed for the safety of the galaxy. Titan's sacrifice, amidst the chaos and the looming threat of total annihilation, Captain Simmons stepped forward, desperately trying to reason with Zoran and the Galactic Council. He argued passionately that Titan was not a threat, but a sentient being capable of understanding and cooperation, a potential ally rather than an enemy. However, Zoran, his fear blinding him to reason, was unmoved. He ordered the dreadnought's weapons to target Titan, ready to obliterate the creature and anyone who stood with it. In that critical moment, something extraordinary happened. Titan, who had been watching the events unfold with a mix of caution and sadness, made a decision. The creature's form began to glow with an intense, otherworldly light, and before the dreadnought could fire, Titan unleashed a massive surge of energy that swept across the planet's surface. The energy wave disabled every ship in orbit, including Zoran's dreadnought, rendering their weapons useless. As the light faded, the battlefield fell into an eerie silence. The humans and their allies slowly emerged from their cover, staring in disbelief at the empty space where Titan had once stood. The mighty creature had vanished, leaving behind only the ruins of the ancient civilization and the stunned survivors of the battle. Captain Simmons felt a deep, crushing sense of loss as he realized what had happened. Titan, understanding the destructive path that fear was leading the galaxy down, had sacrificed its own safety to prevent further conflict. It had chosen to leave, to disappear into the vastness of space, rather than allow itself to be the cause of more bloodshed. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council was left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. The fear that had driven them to the brink of war now seemed hollow and misplaced, and there was a growing realization that they had lost something truly irreplaceable. However, the story was far from over. As the Council began to withdraw and the humans prepared to leave Xeris, Dr. Amelia Chen discovered something astonishing. Hidden deep within the data logs of their base camp's computer systems was a vast transfer of information that had occurred during Titan's final act. It was as if the creature had entrusted them with the knowledge and technology of its entire species before departing. As Amelia, Jeremy, and the rest of the team began to explore the data, they realized that Titan had given them the keys to unlock the secrets of its civilization. But this gift came with a heavy responsibility. They would have to use this knowledge wisely, ensuring that it would lead to a future of cooperation and peace, rather than one of conflict and destruction. A fragile peace. Returning to the galactic capital, Captain Simmons and his team found themselves at the center of a maelstrom of political maneuvering and intense scrutiny. The information they had brought back from Xeris was both a treasure trove and a potential Pandora's box. The data included not only advanced technology, but also the history, culture, and scientific achievements of Titan's lost civilization. The implications were staggering, and the Galactic Council was deeply divided on how to proceed. Some members saw the potential for incredible advancements, ways to heal the galaxy's wounds, and usher in a new era of prosperity. Others, however, feared that this knowledge could be weaponized, that it could fall into the wrong hands and bring about a new age of chaos and war. The situation was further complicated by the actions of Zoran, who, despite his initial defeat, continued to push for Titan's destruction, arguing that the creature's mere existence posed an unacceptable risk to galactic security. Amidst this tense atmosphere, the Council convened to hear the humans' proposal. Captain Simmons, along with Dr. Chen and Lieutenant Reynolds, presented their findings, emphasizing the potential for peaceful cooperation and the benefits that Titan's knowledge could bring to all species. They proposed the establishment of a neutral research outpost on a remote, uninhabited moon, where scientists from across the galaxy could study Titan's data in a controlled and secure environment. The outpost would be demilitarized with no weapons allowed, and overseen by a joint council of representatives from all major species. This compromise was met with cautious approval by most of the council, but Zoran and his allies remained skeptical. They insisted on maintaining a fleet in orbit around the moon, ready to intervene at the first sign of trouble. Despite these lingering tensions, the outpost was established, and the research began. For a time, it seemed as though the galaxy might finally be on the path to a new era of understanding and cooperation. Scientists and diplomats from every corner of the galaxy came together, united by a common goal. However, the peace was fragile, and beneath the surface, old fears and rivalries continued to fester. It wasn't long before these underlying tensions began to threaten the delicate balance that had been so painstakingly achieved. The threat within as. The research outpost on the remote moon of Karel grew and thrived. The scientists made astonishing breakthroughs, unlocking the secrets of Titan civilization at an unprecedented pace. The knowledge they uncovered had the potential to revolutionize energy production, medicine, and even space travel. However, not everyone was content with the peaceful exploration of this new frontier. Commander Zaid, who had been humiliated by Titan's earlier defeat, harbored deep resentment and suspicion toward the humans and their growing influence. He saw the outpost not as a beacon of hope, but as a potential threat to the existing galactic order, one that could empower humanity to rise above its peers. Secretly, Zaid began to plot, gathering a group of like-minded officers who shared his fears. They believed that the only way to ensure the galaxy's safety was to seize control of Titan's knowledge by force, and to use it to solidify their species' dominance. As tensions simmered beneath the surface, Dr. Chen made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the outpost. Hidden within Titan's data was a submatrix, a complex and ancient code that held the secret to the creature's near immortality. This hibernation technology, which had allowed Titan to survive for millennia, could be the key to extending life, curing diseases, and even preserving civilizations through the darkest of times. However, as the scientists celebrated this discovery, Zaid saw only danger. He believed that such power could not be trusted in the hands of anyone but his own people. Without warning, Zaid's forces launched a surprise attack on the outpost, attempting to seize control of the data and neutralize the human researchers. The outpost, caught off guard, erupted into chaos. As the battle raged, Captain Simmons and his team fought desperately to defend the facility and protect the knowledge that had been entrusted to them. In the midst of the conflict, a new and terrifying threat emerged. Zaid's forces had brought with them a bioweapon, engineered from stolen fragments of Titan's DNA, designed to target the creature's unique biology. As the virus was unleashed, It spread rapidly, threatening not only Titan, but everyone on the moon. The situation seemed hopeless as the outpost's defenses crumbled, and the virus mutated faster than the scientists could develop countermeasures. However, in their darkest hour, Titan once again proved its worth. The creature, sensing the imminent danger, activated its most advanced and secretive technology. It entered a chrysalis state, encasing itself in an impenetrable biosphere, and began to rewrite its own genetic code in an effort to combat the viral threat. As the battle raged outside, Titan fought within its cocoon, using all of its ancient knowledge and power to save not only itself, but the very beings that had once feared it. A new era dawns as Titan's cocoon pulsed with energy. The battle outside gradually subsided, with the attackers either defeated or driven off by the united forces of the outpost's defenders. The once divided species, now fighting side by side, had come to realize that their survival depended on cooperation, not conquest. The aftermath of the battle left the outpost in ruins, but the spirit of its inhabitants remained unbroken. Titan's cocoon began to crack, releasing waves of light that illuminated the devastated landscape. The once feared creature emerged, transformed into a being that was both organic and mechanical, a living testament to the fusion of biological and technological evolution. With its new form, Titan projected a message across the galaxy, a call for unity and growth that transcended individual species and cultures. The beings of the galaxy, who had once feared and mistrusted each other, now stood on the precipice of a new age, one where knowledge and cooperation could replace fear and violence. The Galactic Council, humbled by the events that had transpired, convened once more to discuss the future. Zoran, who had once been the fiercest opponent of Titan, now stood as one of its staunchest advocates, having witnessed firsthand the creature's sacrifice and dedication to peace. Captain Simmons, now appointed as the human ambassador to the Council, proposed a bold plan, the establishment of a galactic alliance dedicated to the preservation and betterment of all life. This alliance would be founded on the principles of cooperation and mutual respect, with Titan's knowledge serving as the cornerstone of their efforts. The Council, moved by the unprecedented unity they had witnessed, agreed to Simmons's proposal. The alliance was formed, and with it, a new era of exploration and discovery began. Under Titan's guidance, the galaxy embarked on a journey of healing and growth, where the barriers between species were slowly eroded and a shared future became possible. The once feared apex predator had become a symbol of hope and unity, its legacy forever intertwined with that of humanity and the countless other species that now stood together. As the first galactic summit of the newly formed alliance concluded, the delegates looked out upon the transformed moon, now a symbol of what they could achieve together. They knew that the path ahead would not be easy, that there would still be challenges and obstacles to overcome. But for the first time in history, they faced the future not with fear, but with hope, knowing that they were stronger together than they could ever be apart. The story of Titan and the humans who had dared to reach out to it would be told for generations, a reminder that even the most insurmountable challenges could be overcome when beings of different worlds chose to come together as one.